Hey there and welcome back with another video. So today I am going to be reviewing Daler-Rowney Aquafine Watercolor Tube Set. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So this set has 12 paint tubes in it and it has a split primary palette, and along with that it also has some beautiful secondary colors. And this series, which is Aquafine, it is marketed as a professional series. So now let's see how things are written on the tube. The name is written on the top of it, and underneath it is the serial number. In the front box, it shows if the paint is opaque or semi-opaque, and the stars show how much is the light fastness of this particular paint that they have used. For instance, this ivory black has a 4-star rating, meaning it has excellent light fastness, and half filled square means it is semi-opaque. Now for the lemon yellow, you can see that the square is not filled with any kind of mark, so it is completely transparent. Another important thing is that on each tube, the actual pigment that is used for making the paint is written on the back of the tube, so that is really helpful. Most of the tubes are monopigmented, however, this green is not. But at the end of the day, it is really helpful to know what pigments are being used in your watercolor paint so that you can make better decision for your palette. Now I'm going to swatch all of the paints, so let's see them in real action. And all the information like the serial code, the name of the paint, the actual pigment that is used, and the light fastness rating is shared on the right side of the screen. Now you can see that 3-star rating is for the moderate light fastness and 4-star rating is for the excellent light fastness. Another important thing that I love about this palette set is that it has a split primary palette for the RBY color theory, meaning it has a warm and a cool for red, a warm and a cool for blue, and a warm and a cool for yellow. So I can technically mix almost all the secondary colors that I want. I know that color theory is a very controversial topic and people are really divided when it comes to selecting the primary colors. But if you're following red, yellow, and blue color theory and you follow a split primary palette, then I think it's a decent way to mix colors without getting into hustle of like which color theory is right or which color theory is wrong. So with that, we can just move on to our next swatch, right? When it comes to the secondary colors, it does not have secondary range completely. It only has a hooker green dark, which is a beautiful vibrant green, and you can just use it as a convenience green in your artwork, while you can mix your own green with the primary palette, but you just have it. And the rest of the colors are like the earths and like this yellow ochre, raw sienna, raw umber, and they're just something that you can mix again with using a primary palette. But in case if you don't want to, you just have these in your palette. In watercolors, transparency is something that is really admired, and that is another thing that I love about this set is that all of the paints are either completely transparent or they are kind of slightly opaque. They are not completely opaque, so you can just layer them over and over and it will not become muddy mixture. Now it also comes with an ivory black and a Chinese white, which I don't know if artists use that a lot because they are really cakey when it comes to mixing with other colors, but they still have it, so you can just use them if you want to. I personally use this Chinese white with alizarin for making pink. Now, when they are dried completely, they do not look cakey or scratchy, how some watercolors can be like, so that is another plus point. Now I also want to show you how all of these colors are permanently staining. So I have already swatched them onto the paper and tried lifting them, but once you just have them on the paper, you cannot lift them. So all of them are going to stain your paper. I cannot have these watercolor tubes with me all the time, so I just got all of these paints in this watercolor palette and I just let them dry. And I really admire that these paints are really easy to reactivate with a tiny amount of water. Like you don't have to spray them with water and then wait for a minute or two to become activated. So that's also a really good point for these. Like they're really easy to activate with water. These paints also mix really well together, and for that I am going to be mixing all the secondary colors using the primary colors that are available in this palette. So I'm following a split primary palette, so if you want to understand that, you can get up to my channel, because that's really difficult for me to just let you know about that palette completely in this video, since it's a review video and not a mixing video. But I just want you to see how you can create a lot of beautiful colors just using these 6 colors that are available in this palette. Another reason why these secondary colors are so vibrant is because how all of the primary colors are monopigmented, meaning that the colors that I'm using are single pigmented and they are not a mixture of pigments already. So when I'm mixing two colors, I can really predict the outcome. I also love the combination of alizarin crimson hue with the Chinese white. I know it's not a conventional way of mixing a pink color or simply getting a lighter tone of your watercolor, but hey, I really liked it, and I am going to be using that in my watercolor uh, artwork. So just do whatever you really want. You can mix whatever colors you like. So I also got them in this beautiful tiny wooden palette. And with that, the review is finally over. I hope you really liked this video, and if you did, then thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.